Hey everyone, this is just a quick side note before the video gets going. Unfortunately, after the montage in this video, I had a bunch of audio issues, so I had to go ahead and re-record a bunch of stuff. So everything after the montage is a voiceover. So if parts of the audio don't line up after the montage, I apologize. It's because of that reason, but I'm going to do my best to make it as fluid and as clear as possible, so hopefully it's not too noticeable. But yeah, just letting you know, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Hey everyone, my name is KryptoCal, and welcome to the next episode of FTB Skies. You're joining me pretty much exactly after I ended the last episode, where I just came back from the end, and I'm pretty much ready to go back and start exploring in the end. Now there's a couple things from the end that I'm interested in getting. In our endgame quest tab, we have a couple things that we're going to need to start submitting in the future to get our way all the way to the end and finish the pack. To get there, we have to go through quite a bit of potentially grindy stuff. Elemental craft is one of those grindy mods. However, some of the harder elemental craft stuff, for example, the Firite ingot, this isn't actually going to be too bad because we can find a lot of this stuff in the end cities. Other ones like the Swift alloy ingots can be found as well, and they have a higher percent chance of showing up. So I think I'm going to spend the first part of this episode going to the end and hopefully getting some of that good loot from the end cities. So we're going to come over here to our gateway here and throw an ender pearl through and get exploring. So I believe that this is the unusual end mod. I'm not actually familiar with this one so much. There is some purpur just kind of kicking around here, some of the raw purpur, which is interesting. Oh, we found something here. What is this? A wandering trader llama's out here. What are you doing out here? He's got some interesting stuff. How about this massive structure? This has got to be some sort of big tower, right? Ow. Why am I taking damage? Do I have to go in from the bottom? Is this how this works? Uh-oh. Mistakes were obviously made. Couple of interesting goodies here. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Ooh, a flawless solar gem. Very cool. Oh, there's an end city right here. Okay, this looks like a vanilla end city. So let's grab this dragon head really quick here. Ooh, 7 drenched ingot. That's what we're looking for. A tier 4 dimensional storage. That's a really late game storage. That's like the max tier. 1.5%. Yeah, that's a pretty rare drop. We also got some of the Swift alloy ingots as well. So that's really cool. We'll bring all that home. We're looking for about a stack of each of these. So hopefully we can go ahead and get that. A flamingo floaty. We'll take that, of course. Some of the gems I'll also grab because we're going to probably need them for apotheosis in the future. So we'll go ahead and grab those. We have a big one right here we can grab. Let's see what we got. Enderium, some more Swift alloy, nice. 4 speed tier augments, very cool. Wow, that's a purple chest plate. Gold shovel. What do we have in here? A Godforged pearl. That was a pretty small end city, so maybe we can go ahead and find something a little bit better. Another one of these towers here. Oh, there's another big end city here. Very cool. Let's go ahead and explore this one now. Luck 3. Oh, that is real. Wait, hold on. That could be really handy actually right now. Because luck actually improves the loot you get from treasure chests. We have luck 3. Okay, so we have the maximum amount of luck now. 18 Swift alloy ingots. Perfect. Oh, nice. We got some Firite. Put in here. Oh, 12 Swift alloy ingots. Nice. That's about all the loot, I think, from this city as well. So that's totally fine. Let's just keep on moving. Oh, here's a massive end city. What do we have in here? Some Swift alloy. More speed add-ons. Absolute ton of these gold armor pieces. Ethereum, Swift alloys, more netherite stuff. Cryo stabilized infuser. The loot out here is insane. Speed 5. That was a pretty good haul from that one. So what are we at? We have 60. We have enough Swift alloy, which is great. We need some more drenched and also more Firite. I thought I'd have all the drenched by now, which is surprising. I don't have nearly enough drenched ingots, so let's hopefully we can get those. Terra steel. Ooh, nice. Bone mealer 5. I have no idea what that does. There we go. Here's some drenched ingots, finally. Belt slot. Even more health. Okay, we're in the purple hearts now. All right, we're at 16 drenched ingots, which means we're a quarter of the way there. So hopefully we can get a little bit luckier. 16 speed add-ons. And please. Nope. Give me those drenched ingots. Let's see them. No. Few more drenched ingots, okay. We'll take it, we'll take it. It's not looking good for my chances of getting enough in this one session of looting here, but I'll do a couple more cities probably and see what we get, and then I'll probably head back. We still have a while before we have to hand that quest in, so I might even just come back out here at some point and just do a little more if I ever need a break from some stuff, I just come back out here and do a little bit more looting, and that should be totally fine. And here was the haul from that trip, mixed in with a bunch of other stuff. Here we have an absolute ton of these gems and a bunch of gear that we can break down. Now, there might be some gear here that we might care to keep the enchantments off of, but realistically, I don't really need them. I need to submit 16 Godforged Pearls and also some of the Arcane Sands here. So what we're going to actually go ahead and do is make I think it's called a salvaging table. Oh, we already have one. Okay. A salvaging table. This just takes some gem dust, which we get from, you can drop an anvil on top of gems. So I think we got a little bit from like a quest reward or something. Let's just take the gear, the blue stuff out right now for now. All right, so we have a bunch of blue gear here. We can go ahead and just put it all down. I think this should convert all into the luminous crystal that we want. Yeah, luminous processing requires 32. So we have 44 now. So we have plenty for that quest, which is great. I could even probably go ahead and just submit them now, which means I can probably go ahead and submit a couple of these things. I can go ahead and submit our elemental craft stuff here. Likewise, I can take out some of the purples here. There we go. 28 of the arcane sands. How many of those do we have now? 30. I think we need 32. We have any more purples in here that I missed? Oh, there's one. Oh, but we got exactly 2 right here. So we go ahead and submit that. We can also go ahead and submit a couple of these other things that we have, like the annihilation and formation cores. 128 of these. And the formation, we also want to do 128 as well. We'll let those craft up. 1,000 blaze rods. We have 57,000, so that is 1,000 right there. Here we go. Nether stars, we should have also plenty of. Now, crying obsidian, that's a little bit of a tougher one. We have to... Draconic bees can convert the normal obsidian, so we might have to go ahead and try and figure out how to get some more of that, but that's going to be coming later probably. Swift element, we already have. Terra steel, I don't think we have enough mana right now to make all 32 of those. We need to make some of the advanced processors from refined storage, which isn't potentially going to be a huge deal. You can craft up 128 of those, I think, no problem. You can also take some of the golds out of here, of course, and also smelt those down into the Godforged Pearls. We might even have enough right here to get all the Godforged Pearls we're going to need for the quest to be finished. So let's see if we can get that done right here. 26. There we go. 16. Okay, yeah, that was pretty easy. So yeah, that one end run basically completed all of our apotheosis stuff. And then we can come down here and we can just go and put the raw processors in to smelt. There we go. So my goal is to take down the setup here for the Gaia Guardian fight, because I do want to continue to build out this direction, and this means that this entire arena is going to have to go. But I'm going to go ahead and use up the Gaia Spirit ingots that I have currently, because honestly, if I just do this 5 more times like I have the ingots for here, that might even just be enough to have as many of these spirits as we're going to need. So yeah, hopefully we can go ahead and just finish this up very quickly, and then we shouldn't have to fight the Gaia Guardian pretty much ever again. Our final count is exactly 3.5 stacks, which I think should be plenty. Well, I have a build all designed up in creative ready to go, but these materials are not going to collect themselves, so let's get going. Okay, so about half an hour of resource collection later, we have ourselves everything that we need. And the thing that's the tough part about the collecting is just the sheer number of resources that I use. Not the quantities per se, but just the variation in the build. But having our AE2 system makes gathering all those unique little materials so much faster. So without further ado, let's get everything going and let's get on with the time lapse. But here it is, the finished build. This is definitely one of my most unique looking builds so far on this island, and I love how it came together. I took some design elements from the storage building because I really loved the way that the stone arch kind of looked, so I went with a stone build again, the same kind of palette, and I absolutely love the way that this all ties together. I also decided to add a helicopter pad here, just mainly for the aesthetic, but who knows, there might be a helicopter here at some point. Unfortunately, there is one small issue. It's offset. It's offset by one block. By just one block. Ugh. There was an issue, I guess, when I was setting up the schematic, and I must have had it not aligned properly, so it's one block off, but I'm definitely not taking this thing down, so it's now an artistic design choice. Yeah, and I don't want to hear any different. But yeah, I'll probably go ahead and do a little bit of work to terraform this area and make it blend a little bit nicer, maybe add a little retaining wall around the edge here, but other than that, super happy how this came together. And half an hour later or so, I have finished putting in the path here. I added a tree right in the middle, and I also brought the path up and around, so now it all ties together super nice. I also added this retaining wall around the side here with just some stone and andesite, and I think that ties it in okay. I wanted to go with a little bit of a brighter color just because the main build itself is relatively dark. I just went with something a little lighter, and I think it turned out pretty well. And I haven't done really any interior here at all, just a big open space right now. I added some lights around here just to keep it lit up. And I haven't laid out exactly where I want to put everything in terms of industrial foregoing and all that stuff, but this is definitely going to be plenty of space, and we're probably just going to end up fitting stuff in as we go, because there's plenty of space in here to work around. So to bring some extra channels over from our AE system over to the new building, I want to go ahead and use another P2P tunnel to bring 32 channels over for us to use for all the machines over there. So let's go ahead and bring over this dense cable all the way over to the building, and then once we've brought the dense cable all the way over to the building, we can just use some normal cables to bring the channels around. There we go, we have a couple access points now. We have one coming up right in the middle here, and there's also a couple on the side that I have, so now we should have easy access to our AE system wherever we are in the building here. And for the palette for the floor, I'm going for a cinder block and the cinder brick design from the Industrial Decor mod. You can buy them from villagers, and you can also craft them. It's got just kind of like a nice clean white look, but not too bright, so I just really love the way it looks in here. Oh yeah, this guy sells cinder blocks and the bricks. I'll buy as much as I can from him. And this guy also sells the normal cinder blocks as well, so I'll just buy a bunch of this stuff, and hopefully that'll be enough to fill the entire floor. Unfortunately, the annoying thing with this is I can't use the wand to kind of just make the floor for me because it places the cinder blocks wrong, so it has the wrong face. But what we can actually do is just use the wand to place down a bunch of the normal brick. Then we can take our exchanging gadget and I think just exchange some blocks here and there to texture it. Yeah, it places it the right way, so we can just go ahead and just spam right click around here and make it look a little more textured. So getting started in industrial foregoing, we have to first craft the fluid extractor. So the fluid extractor is how we're going to go about collecting latex to turn into plastic. Now the fluid extractor basically takes the latex out of logs, and acacia logs actually give double the amount of latex per work cycle than other logs do. So we're going to probably want to try and find a way to get acacia logs automated coming into our system. Now we could do it via the phyogenic insulator and be done with it, but I think we might as well try and make use of some more of our bee setup and maybe get a couple of these lumber bees. So to get the lumber bee, we have to go ahead and breed up a yellow and green carpenter bee, which we can get from this birch nest. Now, if we go in here and get ourselves some of these honey treats, we can go ahead and summon one to speed it up here, and hopefully that will produce one of the ones that we need. Perfect, that is the green one. So now we just have to do this one more time and hopefully we can get the yellow one. All right, and there's the yellow one, perfect. So now we don't really need this anymore, so we can put this away. Now we can put these two in the breeding chamber, and they should produce a lumber bee. We can get some roses out of here. We can go ahead and breed these ones up. This should start to produce the bees. We actually have this lumber bee spawn egg from a quest reward, so we can actually go ahead and get our first one using this egg. But let's go ahead and speed this breeding chamber up really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and get enough lumber bees together here to maybe fill 2 nests worth over at our bee setup. All right, let's come inside here and let's take out some of the other bees out of some of these nests and replace them. And we want to separate the pipe here so they don't connect because we want to send the logs somewhere different. And let's go ahead and put our 5 lumber bees in here. We also want to make sure we add this upgrade block because this will make the bees produce logs directly instead of just the chips, which is a huge upgrade. Now, I don't actually have any acacia logs in my system, so I'm actually going to have to buy a sapling from the market here and grow it up, and then we should be good. And I believe whatever log you're using as the flower determines which log the bees will produce. So these should start to produce acacia logs for us. There we go, we got 15 acacia logs in here, so that means that it's working perfectly. I think if we get 2 of these hives set up with the lumber bees, just like this, that should be more than enough acacia to get us going. I wonder if we also put 1 of each different log in here, do they produce all 3 different types of wood? Oh yes they do, that's really cool. So we can actually farm multiple different types of wood this way. Interesting. Now, I'm not sure if it reduces the rates of each one, like if it splits it evenly, or if it gives you the full amount per log type. But if that's the case, then we definitely want to have multiple wood types. That would be awesome. And there we go. We have the other 5 bees in here. So now both of these hives, the top and bottom here, are producing us logs with 5 lumber bees in each. I will also want one of these to be doing the witch hazel log, because the witch hazel log actually can't be automated any other way. It only can be automated via the bees, unlike the other ones that can be put in the phytogenics. So I definitely want to have this coming in automatically if I can. And hopefully that'll supply us with a decent supply for when we want to use it for building. Alright, so now that we have a good supply of acacia logs coming in here, we can get started into industrial foregoing. So first of all, we have to go ahead and set up a crafting recipe for our fluid extractor. This will be the first thing that we need to start getting latex out of these logs. Let's go ahead and start this with like maybe 8 fluid extractors. I think this should be good for now. Perfect, and that should be a quest reward. Yeah, we get some latex and also the instruction manual, which is good. We also have a bunch of these speed upgrades that we got from when we were doing the end rating, so we'll bring some of these along too. And I think we're going to automate the sending of a bunch of resources via modular routers. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of automated recipes set up for modular routers. For some reason, a lot of these aren't on autocraft already, so I got to go ahead and add these to our system. So first off, we're going to need to get a sender module. So let's get the MK1s, and then we'll upgrade right to the MK2s as well. We're also going to need the energy distribution module, which is going to be how we send power around. And we'll also get the distribution module while we're at it, and some energy upgrades. So hopefully this will make crafting up all this modular router stuff much faster. We're also going to need a breaker module. So let's go ahead and get 4 of these for the modular routers. We're also going to need 4 of the placer modules, which are going to be responsible for placing our logs. So we'll grab all 4 of those. We also need to get a distribution module. So we'll go ahead and get 1 of those. And we also need 1 of the energy distribution modules. So we'll craft up 1 of those as well. We also need to get the energy upgrades and also some speed upgrades for sure. We'll make some more of those. We just need to get the modular routers themselves, and 4 is what we need. So that, I think, is the last thing that we need pretty much. We're also going to need some exporters for exporting everything back into our system, and some acceleration cards for that exporter. We're also probably going to need 1 vacuumulator from thermal, and we're also probably going to want to add a filter to it as well. So what we're going to do is probably inset this back by 1. So we'll have the logs right here, and then we'll have the modular routers behind this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And get the light out of there. And 4. There we go. Each one of these is going to get a breaker module and a placer module, which we'll have to configure these after we put them in. The breaker modules will get a stripped acacia log. The reason that we have to break the stripped acacia is because the fluid extractors will actually convert the normal logs into the stripped versions, which produce significantly less latex when you're extracting from them. So we kind of want to get the stripped ones out of there and put in a fresh acacia log every time. Let's configure the placer module as well. Now let's put our fluid extractors facing into the middle here. So we'll have 4 on each side. And that looks pretty good. Nice compact little setup there. So we're going to export our acacia logs into the bottom router, and then we'll use a distributor module to send the acacia logs to the other 3 and place it inside of the first router. And then we can go ahead and filter this so it's round robin, so it'll share the acacia logs evenly. And then we can go ahead and just whitelist the normal acacia logs, and we're good to go. Now let's run our cable all the way over here from our main spot there and throw an exporter on the bottom. Hook it all in, and we should see that it is online, which it is. Perfect. And now we want to set the export to only export the normal acacia log. And it's coming in and immediately getting sent out to the other routers. So we should see them start to evenly distribute the acacia logs and fill in each one. Now, these routers aren't actually placing this yet because I haven't added the security upgrades in, because normally if you have a claimed chunk, you have to have a security upgrade for it to place it. So we'll leave the security upgrades out until the very end so that it doesn't start without us having everything hooked up. So this lower router also needs some energy upgrades and speed upgrades, because that's how we're going to distribute the energy to the other fluid extractors. So let's go ahead and now take our point and give it some power, which it is now filling up. These fluid extractors don't have any power right now, and they can actually accept the speed upgrades that we have here. And the speed upgrades will actually help it speed up even with no power. So that's kind of cool. But we are going to give them power now. So let's go ahead and take our distribution module and select all 8 of these. Perfect. And that should immediately power all of these up, which it is doing. Perfect. And we'll just put some acceleration cards into this exporter at the bottom, just so it always keeps the Acacia nice and stocked. We'll have to monitor it and make sure that it is keeping up with the rates that it requires. Let's put our accumulator down just to the right here. That should be totally fine to pick up the Acacia, the stripped Acacia when it gets broken. And then we're just going to put it right into a trash can probably. And we'll go ahead and whitelist the stripped Acacia and put it on allow. And then we'll probably just put a trash can up here with a normal item pipe just to pipe it all in. Now we're going to take some normal fluid pipes and just take them and put them on the back of all of our extractors. Then we'll go ahead and pump the latex out of the extractors and into another tank or something. Now we have a couple options on how we want to store the latex. We could go ahead and get a storage bus to store the latex in a tank and access it that way. Or we can import all the latex into our system and store it in one of the fluid disks. The ME fluid storage cells is what I'm looking at, and I'm thinking this might be what we want to go for. So let's go ahead and craft up one of these fluid cells and see how they work. But first, let's go ahead and actually start this whole system up by adding the security upgrades in and finally get some latex starting to be produced. And there it is, coming in slowly but surely. And that is going to be probably more than enough latex for what we're going to need. So now that we have this fluid cell, we can go ahead and put this into one of these drives here, and that will start to store any fluid that we pipe into our system. However, we can go ahead and take this fluid cell and do a little bit of tinkering with it to make it even more efficient. If we craft up one of these cell workbenches, we can actually go ahead and modify our cell to be a little more efficient. We can just place this down somewhere. I don't even know if this needs to be hooked into the system or not. I don't think it has to be even part of the network. It can just be like on the ground somewhere. And now we can see that we now have options to put upgrades into the cards, like the overflow destruction card. That'll make it so that latex will always just get voided if there's excess coming in. We can also filter this so that latex is the only fluid that will be stored in this cell. So let's craft up one of these overflow destruction cards and put it into our fluid cell. Just in case we ever fill up on latex, we'll never have to worry about this overfilling or filling into another fluid storage cell. We can just move the workbench over here for now. It doesn't have to even be hooked into the system. And we'll come back down here, and now we should see that we'll be able to import our latex directly into our system very easily. All we have to do is maybe add like a buffer tank or something. Just put down a basic fluid tank for now, and we'll just hook in the fluid pipe in on the other side. So now it's all pumping into this one fluid tank. Then we can come in the bottom here and grab an importer, and we want to just set this to latex to be importing. Let's just filter this, which is good. And just put maybe one acceleration card in here, and let's hook it into our system now. And that should start to drain, hopefully, if I did this correctly. Yep, it is draining. Okay, yep. It's slowly going down, which is awesome. That means it should be pumping into our system, and we can see it in our terminal. We already have a good amount of buckets of latex in here already, so that'll make storing and transferring latex around much, much easier. So now that we've automated latex coming into our system, now we have to go and process that latex in the latex processing unit to turn it into the dry rubber, which can be smelted into plastic. Let's go ahead and craft up one of these latex processing units really quick, and that should be good. So we really want to get to the point where we have the dissolution chambers being made. The dissolution chamber is what we actually need to craft a lot of recipes in this mod, so we want to get this as soon as we can. But it takes some plastic, so we're going to have to first make some of the dry rubber, which is made by using the tiny dry rubber, which can be made from the latex processing unit. Now I want to check something really quickly actually. Can I put down a sink? Now, if I add a storage bus to a sink, does this show me infinite water in my system? It does, 2.1 billion water. And being able to send water via AE2 will make it much easier to automate the latex processing unit. So now that we have everything set up, let's go ahead and get a couple things out. Let's get an interface really quick, because I think this will be a good way to automate our latex. So we can go ahead and place down our processing unit on top. We're going to want to pull the water in and also the latex in from the bottom, because we can actually just set the interface to keep certain stock of certain fluids. And we also want to set the rubber output to push out the bottom into the interface as well. Let's keep latex in stock here. We'll say maybe like just set 1 bucket of latex that it'll always keep in stock. So we can go ahead and filter this so that it'll always keep 1 bucket of latex in stock once we have this obviously hooked up to our AE system. And we can also go ahead and ask it to keep water in stock as well. So now if we come in here and add in 1 more cable to hook this all in, we should see that this starts to hopefully send latex and water over, which it does, and that should now be going into our processing unit. And it looks like the latex is coming in, but the water doesn't appear to be for some reason. I'm not 100% sure why. Yeah, for some reason I can't get the interface to send the water into this processing unit. It's set to pull out the bottom, it's just seemingly not wanting to work. So we might have to come up with an alternative to get the water in here. So I think instead of using an interface, we're going to have to probably go ahead and use an export bus instead. We'll have to add a capacity card to this because we have to be able to send more than just the 1 fluid in. And then we'll filter this for latex. And also we want to add water to this. And we should be seeing both of these in our system now. Yes, we are. Okay, perfect. So we're going to want to get a couple of acceleration cards for this to make it go a little bit faster. There we go, and that is now starting to produce us the dry rubber. Yeah, so everything's coming in perfectly now, and we're just going to have to now set a different way for the rubber to be exported out of the system. And we could probably do that just by using another modular router here. And there we go, it's pulling the dry rubber in slowly but surely, and that is looking good. Now we'll just take an import bus here and import all the dry rubber right into our system, which should be pretty straightforward here. That should automatically start to pump everything in. So now we should be able to come in here and start setting some recipes for the plastic that we need. We'll have to get the large dry rubber recipe made up here. And then once we have that, we can go ahead and put it through the smelter and turn it into plastic. And that should be all automated. So now we should be able to come in here and ask for like a little bit of plastic, maybe 10? Nope, too much. How about 2? There we go, we can get 2 plastic. So now we have to use this plastic to craft up our dissolution chamber. So let's come back over here and set a recipe up for the dissolution chamber. All right, let's craft up maybe 3 of the dissolution chambers to start here. Awesome, so let's go ahead and bring them over here, and we'll probably keep them in the same area as the latex processing unit because we have lots of space to work with in here still. So we can go ahead and just place them above here. Let's just add 1 block in between, and then we can place all 3 of these dissolution chambers side by side. Now all we have to do is add some pattern providers to these to add some recipes. So let's just get 3 of the basic pattern provider. That should be good enough, I think. So the automation for this is really easy because of that, because the dissolution chamber can pull and push completely automatically. We can also send the recipes into the dissolution chamber with fluids, so it'll know how much of a fluid it needs to craft, and it'll directly send it into the dissolution chamber. So let's just run some cabling up here now to hook all of these in. They're all online, and we're using 5 out of 8 channels, so we're good. So now these are basically ready for auto crafting. And to get power into these, I'm just going to grab some cable and run them up from the point here. And that's a really easy way to get it done. So let's go ahead and start setting up some recipes for these dissolution chambers. I really want to add the add-ons to the auto crafts, so all the speed and the efficiency upgrades, we should get all those auto crafted. And each one of these add-on recipes requires 1 bucket of latex, and we'll spread it out so that all of the add-ons are in different dissolution chambers. There we go, so those should all be ready to go. Can we actually just request them now to craft? If I ask for maybe 8 of these, yep, those should be good to go. And how about 8 of the efficiency upgrades? Yep, those are good as well. And you can see that they're doing their crafting, which is perfect. We can also add some speed upgrades to these because we have them already, so that'll just make them work a little bit faster. And there we go, we have them all in our system now, so we can go ahead and add them to the dissolution chamber to speed them up a little bit more. So some other important things that we want to craft in the dissolution chamber are these machine frames. The simple, advanced, and the supreme. Now we can only really do the simple machine frame right now because the advanced machine frame requires some of this pink slime. And the pink slime can only be obtained by using a mob slaughter factory to kill a bunch of mobs, and that'll produce the pink slime and the liquid meat. But we haven't got that set up yet, so we're going to go ahead and just make sure that we have the simple machine frame on AutoCraft, and we'll get to the other one at some point. And the simple machine frame is pretty straightforward, just some basic materials and some plastic, and that should be all good to go. All right, so can we go ahead and craft 4 of these? Yes, we can. Okay, so that should start to do its thing. And I believe the simple machine frame is actually a requirement for one of the quests down here. In this next quest, we have to submit 1 of the simple machine frames, so we should probably go ahead and get that submitted right now. Let's just grab one out of here and we'll submit it directly to the quest. And we'll just enclose all this in here with some white concrete, and it'll just keep it looking pretty clean up front. And we'll just facade that cable. We'll add a light there, and that is pretty much it. So that's awesome. We've fully automated this latex setup and also our plastic setup. But unfortunately, that's about all the time I have for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I had a ton of fun making it. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to join the Discord. The link is in the description down below. But that's it for me, everybody. I hope you all have a good one, and I will catch you in the next episode. Bye!